All right, guys, welcome back to another video. And today we're here to talk about the Apple Vision Pro, and we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons why the Apple Vision Pro is better than the Meta Quest 3. I just did a series of these videos where I did a top 5 reasons why the Meta Quest 3 is better than the Apple Vision Pro, and now we're swapping that video, and now we're doing what makes the Apple Vision Pro better than the Meta Quest 3. So let's go ahead and dive into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
So coming in at number 5 here on the Vision Pro is going to be the Passthrough that's on here. The Passthrough is definitely substantially better than what it is on the Meta Quest 3. Even in low light, when I'm in this room here in pitch darkness, even though it's obviously really grainy on the Vision Pro, it is still substantially better than the graininess that is the Meta Quest 3 when it's pitch darkness in the room, where it looks like a VHS tape and stuff, where here it looks like low camera footage, but on the Meta Quest 3 it's even worse. And then on top of the fact that, in Passthrough, you actually have occlusion with your hand. So when you have, digital objects and windows and stuff open, it would actually occlude your hand from the actual digital objects with the Meta Quest. Can't do that very well. So that's obviously a substantial upgrade to this thing as well. And just the resolution of Passthrough is definitely noticeable and better, especially when you have really good light in the room. When I bring this over to, my living room with all the lights being on and stuff like that, or even in this room when I have all these funky LED lights and stuff like that, this is still a substantially better pass-through experience than it is on the Meta Quest 3. Now, obviously, it's not, see-through glass like some people may have led us to believe in the beginning of the reviews. You can definitely tell you're looking through a camera feed, and it does get noisy in very low light, just like the Quest 3 does, but just worse. This is still the best pass-through I've ever used, and it is really awesome to have when you're playing mixed reality experiences or when you're using this as a computer where you have windows floating all over you and you can see the world in better clarity than you could on the Meta Quest 3. So, pass-through coming in at number 5. The next thing coming in at number 4 is going to be the solo media watching experience. Now, I specify solo because the Quest definitely does a better job of socially watching media because of apps like Big Screen and VR Chat and Horizon Worlds, where you can watch a bunch of media out there with 20 other people in a room or even more in VR Chat and stuff, where you're all watching sporting events, going to VR concerts and Horizon Worlds and stuff like that together with a bunch of people. However, when it comes to the solo movie experience or the solo media apps, Vision Pro is leagues and bounds better for obvious reasons. One is, of course, just the fact that it's higher resolution. You have all these different media apps thanks to all the apps that are on here, like Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus and all those different ones that are coming on here that you have on here, and the experience is amazing. The 3D movie experience, the fact that Apple actually has a 3D section of their store now where they have 200 plus 3D movies that you can actually buy and purchase, which obviously is not a thing on the Meta Quest 3, so you're gonna have to source your own 3D movies. And I love 3D movies in VR, and it's outstanding. And Disney Plus creating their specific environments that you can actually watch these movies in, which I always thought Meta was missing, where you can watch, like, hey, if I'm watching a Marvel movie, I'm in these 3D environments that I can't see anywhere else, and I really feel like I'm on those Avengers Tower, and it's awesome to be in Avengers Tower while watching Marvel movies, or being in a Star Wars environment while watching Star Wars movies. They need to lean into that on both of these platforms, because I think that's what sets it apart. Instead of me watching it on my TV, I could be in an immersive environment while also watching on a gigantic 200-foot screen. So the solo movie experience and the solo experience on the Apple Vision Pro is outstanding, with the media apps that are on here and the different environments that you can be in while watching these immersive environments that the Oculus hasn't kept up with, and the fact that we actually have a 3D store on Apple TV and Disney Plus that are actually offering us 3D content. Disney's doing the same thing, and they're not bringing their Disney Plus app apparently to the Meta Quest 3 to offer those 3D movies to us on Disney Plus. And Apple TV's probably not going to do it because they got their own headset now. So when it comes to 3D content, if you want to just have things to watch and create a library of especially 4K 3D movies, which has never been a thing before in HDR, there's not going to be a better 3D movie experience at all, not even counting the lenses, than it will be on the Apple Vision Pro. So when it comes to anything solo watching, I will always pick up the Apple Vision Pro. If I want to do something socially, because I've seen the movie before, I want to watch it with a bunch of friends, then I will pick up the Meta Quest 3. But solo movie watching, Vision Pro is king. Number 3 here is definitely the multitasking and productivity. Now, I did a full-on comparison video the Meta Quest 3 and the Vision Pro, and I showed a little bit above this about this, but nothing beats the productivity and the multitasking on this thing. The fact that I can have all of these different windows around me, not just 3 windows. Like on the Meta Quest 3, you're kind of limited to 3 different web browser windows within your environment and stuff like that. This, you're kind of almost limitless to the processing power that's on this thing, and this thing can handle a lot. You know, I had Twitter open on the left-hand side. I had the ESPN app watching an NHL game over here on the right. I was watching, I had Safari open in the middle. I had a FaceTime call going on the top. All of these different things going on all around me, and I was still, in the App Store and stuff searching for things, and it never hitched and never did anything. Multitasking on this thing is king. And not only just multitasking, but getting productivity work is awesome because it has all the Microsoft apps here as well, but things just work that much better and that more fluid because you can have all these different windows open at the same time. You can easily, obviously, link up a keyboard and mouse on here as well, just so you can cut on the Quest, but everything just works really well because of all these different apps that you have all around you, and it makes multitasking fun to do with the way you just use your hands to manipulate everything. It works really seamlessly with the eye tracking and stuff. It is kind of like magic in a way with what you're actually doing. It feels like you're in a Minority Report movie, just manipulating windows everywhere, and it really makes it a joy to use with how well it actually works and how well the eye tracking works with your hand tracking and everything when it comes to the apps that you have on here and just multitasking and using this thing for productivity. Not to mention that you can very easily, if you have a Mac, just look at your map and pop it up and have it in front of you in a gigantic 50-inch screen or 100-inch screen right in front of you. So you have that main thing right there, and you can use the keyboard on your Mac. And then all around your Mac, you can have all these different apps that I was just talking about while you're working on your Mac. It's just an awesome experience. That's why it's called spatial computing. And I didn't see it before, but I definitely see how awesome it is to use this thing. It makes me want to go in it all the time. Whenever I want to just relax and watch a video and stuff, instead of bringing up my laptop, bringing up my computer behind me, if I just want to watch YouTube, I'll go and relax on the couch and just put the Apple Vision Pro on, pull up a YouTube video, and now since I'm in there and I got the power of a computer on me, I'll open up Twitter and Discord and Reddit and all these kinds of things all around me. And while I'm watching this YouTube video, I can be scrolling a bunch of things in the air. And it's just so much fun to use. That's what I think it is. It's so much fun and intuitive to use, and it makes it a blast to do. And it's definitely a superior experience. It doesn't come close on the Meta Quest 3 that it does on the Apple Vision Pro, and it's awesome. The number 2 thing on this list that we got to talk about is, of course, the lenses itself. Everything that I just talked about would be meaningless if the lenses in here weren't good. And these are 4K OLED lenses that we have on here. So obviously, the Quest 3 is using LCD, so it's not going to have as rich colors and deep blacks that this thing is going to have. So it's going to make all the apps look really good. But then it also has 4K resolution compared to about 2K resolution that the Meta Quest 3 has. So almost double, basically, the resolution of what that thing has. So text on here looks super good. When I'm using all these different windows that I was just talking about, I've never seen text look this good. I've never seen movies look this good. I've never seen any of this stuff in VR look this good. And to me, it just looks awesome. It really, when I was using my Mac in there and kind of looking up and stuff like that, I was like, this is actually usable. I can have a lot of fun doing this and actually get some real work done. And that resolution and stuff and how clear all the icons are and how clear all these things are looking just makes everything a joy to use because everything relies on the lenses. So if the lenses weren't as superior as they are on the Quest 3 and they were the same, then a lot of this stuff wouldn't feel as good as what I'm talking about. Because these lenses are double the resolution and because they're OLED and they have those rich colors and deep blacks, everything that I just talked about just gets that much better because of these lenses, and that comes in as my number 2. And the number 1 thing that we got to talk about with this thing is, of course, the ecosystem. It's always about the ecosystem with Apple. And yes, obviously, if you don't own an iPhone or a Mac or an iPod an iPad or any of that stuff or a Mac, then obviously this point may not do anything for you, obviously. But a lot of people out there have iPhones, whether you want to believe it or not, myself included. I love using my iPhone. I have a Mac and stuff like that. So this isn't something that Meta is going to really be able to fix in the future. This is just how it's going to be. Because how awesome is it that when I'm out and about, I can take my phone out, be taking pictures in spatial, I can take panoramic stuff, all that kinds of stuff. And as soon as I come home, I can pop out my Vision Pro and experience these spatial videos without having to do anything else because it's all synced into the phone, it's all synced on iCloud and stuff like that, and all my pictures are just there, ready to go. How awesome is it that I'm using my phone and I can still be connected to the same people I talk to on iMessage who have iPhones as well, and the majority of the people I know all have iPhones, so I can have my messages open and still be talking to people while I'm using my headset and just text people all I want. Now, obviously, there's text messaging apps on the Meta Quest 2, like their Messenger and stuff, but it's just specific to Facebook. It's not text messaging on people's iPhones. It's not photos being into there already. It's not having, your passwords immediately synced to the iCloud password. So when I log into an app and I just look at it, it has my password saved from every time I logged into my phone and my Mac, so my passwords get entered in automatically. All of that stuff just works. That's what is kind of the magic about this thing, is that it's already stuff that you have on your phone, just now in this new form factor and stuff, and it makes using it that much better, because it's all the apps that you're used to using before, just now better, especially when apps keep coming out and taking advantage of this actual hardware. But this will always be a thing that Apple's going to have against Meta, because obviously Meta doesn't have us using their phone or an iPad or anything like that, so I don't see any way for them to be able to do any of this stuff. But it is going to be something that's always going to be on people's minds, is that if they're going to use a VR headset and they have an iPhone, why not use one that has all their apps that they're already used to on the iPhone, so when they put that thing on, FaceTime calls are still the same, notifications are still all there, everything that you're used to using is all there. And even for me, that's an awesome experience, because it makes me still feel connected when I'm in the headset. When I go into the Meta Quest 3 and I go and play a game, I'm basically disconnected from everyone else. My phone's over there, I'm not doing anything, and I'm just playing a game, which some people may like. But when I'm in here and I'm doing some real work and I'm using my MacBook, or I'm using all these windows and productivity and stuff, it's awesome that I can still get a message on iMessage. I can still get a FaceTime call. I can still use Zoom if I need to, or all these third-party apps that are out there, or GroupMe that I use on my iPhone. Whatever the case may be, it's all just there. And Discord, and just keep using Discord while I'm in there, while watching a video. It just makes everything so integrated. The app ecosystem is always a thing that Apple has had and will probably continue to be so. And it's definitely one of the biggest selling points, in my opinion, about having a headset from Apple, if you're in that ecosystem like me and plenty of other people are. So that is my number one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I also did a top 5 of why the Meta Quest 3 is better than the Apple Vision Pro. So make sure you check out that video, because they all have their pros and cons. And make sure you check out the long form video that I did comparing both these headsets and putting them head to head, so you guys can see which one is worth it to you and all the different differences that these two things can do, because there's a lot to talk about in that video that I did. So guys, if you guys have any questions, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.